Inside every person exists a quiet boundary. A fragile yet decisive line that separates who you truly are from who others want you to become. Most people cross that line without realizing it, spending their lives adjusting themselves to please everyone else. They bend. They shrink. They apologize for existing. And before long, they live in service of other people's comfort instead of their own truth. The ancient Stoics warned about this long ago. They knew that betrayal at its worst isn't what someone else does to you, it's what you do to yourself when you compromise your standards, silence your voice, and hand away your dignity for scraps of approval. Their writings weren't abstract philosophy, but survival strategies. Because if you don't stand firm in who you are, the shifting winds of other people's opinions will drag you until you disappear. This message isn't about arrogance or cold detachment. It's about carving a code inside you that cannot be bribed, broken, or bent. It's about realizing that when you stop honoring yourself, you give the world permission to do the same. If you want calm strength, quiet certainty, and real respect, the rule is simple: never shrink yourself. Here are 10 unforgiving but freeing truths, drawn from Stoic wisdom, to help you claim back your worth. 1. Quit explaining yourself to everyone. Every explanation you give trades strength for approval. Over-explaining is one of the easiest ways to make yourself small. You explain your choices, your dreams, your mistakes, even your happiness as though you need others to validate your life. At its core, this habit says, "I don't fully believe in myself unless you agree with me." The Stoics would argue that action is explanation enough. If you want to be a painter, paint. If you want a different life, live it. Justifications invite arguments and opinions that weaken your resolve. People often challenge your reasoning not to understand you, but to keep you from changing the status quo. And every minute you spend convincing them is stolen from your actual progress. Confidence doesn't beg for acceptance. It moves forward quietly. Trust yourself enough to stop defending every step like you're in court. Your life isn't a trial, it's a mission. Let your results do the talking. 2. Refuse to chase attention. The second you chase, you've already lost. Scrambling for attention is silent self-betrayal. It says someone's approval matters more than your dignity. Once you've placed yourself in that position, they believe it and treat you like an option. Respect can't be begged into existence. If someone truly values you, they'll show it without being chased. If they don't, nothing you do will ever be enough. The Stoic approach is simple: detach yourself from contests you never needed to enter. Keep moving on your path. The right people will recognize your value naturally, and the wrong ones will fall away. Attention is cheap. Self-respect is priceless. Don't trade one for the other. 3. Leave quietly, without drama. Your silence will always be the loudest response. Real strength isn't shown in endless arguments, tears, or lectures. It's shown when you leave quietly, without needing recognition or understanding. Warnings only give others the chance to manipulate you into staying. Silent departure means your choice is sealed, immune to negotiation. Lingering too long in draining places is self-sabotage. Walking away is not cruelty, it's clarity. It is a refusal to waste time in spaces where you're consistently devalued. This principle applies to work, relationships, and social circles. You don't owe the world a performance when you choose peace. Your exit, without words, will always echo louder than any speech. 4. Guard your time like treasure. A wasted hour is a piece of life you'll never get back. Time is your most precious resource. Yet most people hand it out carelessly to distractions, toxic people, and meaningless obligations. The Stoics insisted, life isn't too short, it's just too often squandered. Every yes you give is a no to something else. If you're not deliberate, you'll say no to your own growth and peace while pleasing others. Guarding your time means guarding your life. Cut out distractions without apology. Prioritize your goals with the same seriousness you'd give anyone else's demands. When you treat your time with weight, others will learn to as well. 5. Speak less, carry more weight. Silence is often more powerful than noise. Another way people weaken themselves is through excessive talk. They fill silence, prove their intelligence, or seek approval with words. In doing so, they dilute their own presence. Words, like currency, lose value when overspent. The Stoics prized restraint. Speak only when necessary, true, and useful. Allow your silence to carry its own gravity. The individual who speaks rarely but with conviction is always more respected than the one who never stops talking. Choose fewer words, but make every one count. Scarcity builds value. 6. Stop apologizing for taking space. You don't need permission to exist. Apologies have their place when you've done wrong. But many people apologize for things that require no apology: voicing opinions, setting limits, asking questions, or simply being present. This habit trains others to see you as someone lesser, someone who requires permission to exist. Reserve apologies for real mistakes. Replace needless sorries with confident alternatives. Instead of "sorry I'm late," say "thanks for waiting." Instead of "sorry for speaking up," say "this is my view." Speak as someone who belongs because you do. 7. Expect standards, not favors. When you settle, you signal others it's acceptable to mistreat you. People treat you in line with what you accept. If you take crumbs, you'll never be offered a meal. If you allow disrespect, you're teaching them how to act toward you. The Stoics considered self-respect a moral duty. If you don't guard your dignity, no one else will. Stop dropping your standards just to keep someone close. Stop accepting half-hearted effort and hollow words. Standards are not arrogance, they're boundaries. They separate the people who deserve your time from the ones wasting it. 8. Validate yourself first. Approval from others is rented, self-respect is owned. If you measure your value by others' reactions, you're trapped. Their praise lifts you, their criticism destroys you, and your sense of worth becomes a fragile reflection of what they think. That's not belonging, it's slavery. Stoic wisdom says peace comes from focusing on what you control. The only validation that endures is the one you grant yourself. Build your own scoreboard. Define success on your terms, not by their applause. The cheers will fade, the critics will shout, but neither can touch you when your foundation is internal. 9. Rule your emotions. Anyone who controls your reaction owns you. Self-betrayal doesn't always look like begging, it sometimes looks like exploding in anger, being dragged into drama, or reacting without control. Every outburst hands someone else the keys to your mind. The Stoics believe the greatest freedom is mastery of self. This doesn't mean bottling up emotions. It means choosing response over impulse. Pause before speaking. Breathe before acting. Refuse to be anyone's puppet through anger or jealousy. Your composure is your shield. Protect it. The calmer you stay under pressure, the higher you rise above pettiness. 10. Live by a code no one else can rewrite. If you don't create your code, the world will impose one on you. The ultimate safeguard against lowering yourself is building an inner code. A simple set of principles you refuse to betray no matter the pressure or reward. Without it, you drift. With it, you stand unshakable. Your code doesn't have to be long. It might be, I don't lie. I don't beg. I don't betray myself. The power lies in consistency. This code anchors you when everything around you is unstable. It's not about being inflexible. It's about having a foundation that no one else can tamper with. The world will test it. People will try to bend you. But every time you stay true, you rise in your own eyes, and that's the respect that counts most. Final note: life will keep presenting chances to shrink. To bite your tongue instead of speaking. To stay instead of leaving. To beg instead of demanding. In those moments, the choice is clear: betray yourself, or rise. The Stoics understood what many still miss: the price you set for yourself is the price the world pays. Shrink, and they'll step over you. Stand firm, and they'll rise to meet you. Respect isn't given, it's claimed through silence, boundaries, and self-command. Never shrink yourself. Not for love. Not for approval. Not for belonging. Because once you do, you teach the world exactly how to undervalue you. Hold yourself in such high regard that the world has no choice but to follow.